Yes, and Juneteenth is just a few weeks away, but it's already on the minds of more than a few people, especially since it officially became a federal holiday last year, even though people have been celebrating it for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's also been making headlines this year, and some would say not necessarily for the right reasons.
Yeah, in fact, just yesterday and the day before, we told you about Walmart pulling its Juneteenth ice cream after receiving a lot of backlash for releasing it. They had a celebration edition, they were calling it ice cream, which is a swirled red velvet cheesecake flavor. And the words on the packaging there, to share African-American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope through ice cream.
And then before that, there was a poster that raised eyebrows for a Juneteenth soul food festival celebration in Arkansas. But when folks looked at the panel, it was an all-white panel. And so that created backlash, and then the event was pulled.
And then there was this, a post by a Twitter user showing paper plates in Juneteenth colors on sale at a store. So the kicker here, words on the koozie that said, "It's the freedom for me."
So, how do you do this? How much is too much? Is it ever okay for stores to have a sale in honor of Juneteenth? And should certain people be given a pass when it comes to the holiday? Because for some, it's still very new. Maybe they want to be a part of it or they want to acknowledge it in some way because it is a holiday.
Look, we have guests.
After all that.
Temple University professors Dr. Mark Lamont Hill and Dr. Aaron Smith, thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you.
Good to be here.
So I guess the best way to start this is just your comment when you saw these products.
Because you posted about it.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. You know, it's
Okay.
like white people just found out about Juneteenth and they already gentrified it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like black people have been doing this for a long time. We've had our celebrations, we've had our parties. And let me be clear, I want all of America to embrace this conversation and be part of the tradition, but it's our tradition. And as soon as it gets commodified, it loses its purpose, it loses its heart. And I don't want to see that happen.
Dr. Smith, you agree with that?
I definitely do, and I have to say, I wasn't surprised, because I was thinking to myself, the nation that sold people would definitely be willing to sell ice cream. So it's actually a
Solid
sign of progress in a way.
Solid point.
But here's the interesting thing, because I was thinking about it and I was like, why is this sitting with me weird? When you think about it, though, when you think of Pride, that happens in June, companies put out rainbows and they have all these different things that they put out. When you think of other federal holidays, St. Patrick's Day or something, they put out, green beer and green this and that. So it's not like they haven't done this for other holidays. Why is it different than for this one?
I think it depends on what the holiday is, you know.
Or movements, I guess, because Pride is more of a movement.
It's a movement, right? And so part of the Pride movement is having a rainbow flag and celebrating something that was long put in a closet. So it makes sense to have a big celebration. There are other times, though, where something is tragic, and I wouldn't want a tragedy celebrated, right? And this is still the aftermath of slavery, one of the worst events in human history, if not the worst event in human history. And so I want black people's celebration of freedom to be centered and not how much money I can save on a big box retailer or how much this kind of what ice cream flavor is going to be. I just don't want that to be the center of the conversation.
Well, Dr. Smith, growing up in Texas, we did have barbecues and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, the plates seem, okay, I guess, because I would want something to put up. Because I did go to a Juneteenth party in Philly last year, and the person who threw it, they made stuff. They made little glasses, they made different things to be part of it. Are there certain things that are okay? Or, because I don't know. Are there certain things that are okay?
I think it's the context.
Okay.
The reason why these emotions are so raw is because of the contradictions and lack of progress. If we were just saying same gender loving people could get married, then we say we have celebrations, a different context than people waiting on reparations or working at a Walmart who still qualify for government assistance even though they work 40 hours a week and they're not able to unionize, things of that nature. There's so much raw emotion because there's so much that's unresolved, and we resist having these conversations when we have things like critical race theory that try to advance these conversations. Let's talk about it. Let's confront our history so that we can celebrate together. And we're not triggered by things like plates and ice cream, because typically in any relationship, when you see things that minimal making such a big splash, there's usually some unresolved issues underneath that.
That's good.
Touching on it. Would it be better if they had worked with black people or black businesses?
Yeah.
Would it have been better if they donated maybe to black organizations?
Yeah, they should donate to black businesses. They should support, again, expanding black freedom. That's sort of the point. I think that they should have black people on the boards And in the decision-making processes, if they did, they wouldn't put out Juneteenth ice cream. They wouldn't be having an all-white party. And I don't mean a white party like the ones we do on the 4th of July Essence Fest. I'm talking about a party where everybody's white and they celebrating Juneteenth. That can't happen.
So what if you, because there are some people who aren't black who are like, okay, so how do I handle this? It's coming up. Can I mention it? Can I say something? Do you say Happy Juneteenth to someone who's black? How would you advise someone who's not black to, if they want to acknowledge this date?
You should fast. Don't eat anything. No, just kidding. I think awareness is the key. Educate yourself. Learn about the history of Juneteenth. Learn about why people are celebrating the promise of freedom and how much work still needs to be done.
That's a good way to put it too. The promise.
Yeah, to be a real ally is to be aware and to be empathetic. Not so much to eat ice cream and buy plates. But they did get the color right because red is a pivotal color and central color to the tradition of Juneteenth.
And I would just quickly add, do something to contribute to black freedom. The expansion of black freedom, supporting the black business, supporting black youth, investing in our community. So, do something that makes black people a little bit more free than they were yesterday. If you do that, I'm happy.
Yeah. At least it's being recognized. Finally.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm glad. It's just sometimes America loves to pat itself on the back.
I know.
I don't feel better as a black person knowing that white people get the day off on Juneteenth. I was happy when I was going to barbecues and having parties. You know what I mean? I was good with that. You know what I mean? You grew up doing this stuff. So I mean, it's a long tradition that was ours. And again, I'm happy for the recognition because it's the first time America has even publicly recognized slavery in any kind of way.
Right.
So that's dope. But I don't want America to sort of pat itself on the back so much that we lose sight of the work that still remains in front of us.
That's true. And I think that's why I was torn, because when it first happened in 2020, people started learning about it. And they're like, what is this made-up holiday? And I'm like, I've been celebrating this since I was a kid. Like, this has been celebrated. So I guess that's why part of me is like, hey, at least folks are acknowledging it. They know it's here. I don't have to convince people or explain to them that this is a thing.
And it's like, people do this with Kwanzaa too, right? It's like, this is all holidays are made up. You think when they were like dinosaurs, people were running around celebrating Columbus Day and St. Patrick's Day? Every holiday is made up. It's just y'all used to the ones that are made up by white people, but everything is made up.
Yeah, certain ones are validated.
That's a good academic word.
Yeah, try.
Thank you. And we have two academics here with us, and we're glad you're here.
Temple.
Thank you.